Hi everyone, and welcome to Tech Tactics Live. It's episode 93, and as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking all things 718, specifically 2017 to 2025 718 Boxster and Caymans. Before we get into it and introduce my guests here, I want to thank Pirelli, who is the official sponsor of Tech Tactics Live. I want to remind you, if you're watching tonight, there is a live question and answer feed. If you just put it in the chat area, we'll try to get to all of your questions. And of course, be sure to like if you're enjoying the show, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you're watching this later and you have questions, feel free to comment, because we'll be looking at those all the time, and we answer when we can. Tonight, we have someone that's been on a podcast with us before, talking about their Classic Restoration Challenge submission for 2025. He's the service manager of Porsche Owings Mills. And Peter, welcome back to PCA HQ.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be back.
So if you're short on time and you're just looking to cruise into this video and wonder whether or not you should buy a 718, the short answer is
yes.
Just go ahead and do
Hands
it.
down.
And if you don't need any details, you can just sign off right now. But if you're interested in learning the details of 718, from the different models to what to look for when you're buying one and popular options, then stay tuned, stay right here, and we're going to go through that. Earlier this year, we actually went to Porsche of Owings Mills, and together with Peter and his bronze tech, Ben Lessick, and talked a little bit more in details about the car. So we'll have some clips that we'll share as we go over the 718. So again, live question and answer if you're watching tonight with us. I want to make sure and thank Damon and Manny, who are behind the scenes making all of this happen. So we're going to be talking roughly about, I guess you can group them into 5 models: the 718 base, 718S, the 718 GTS, the GT4 Spiders, as well as the GT4 RS and RS Spiders.
Yes.
Probably I remember when the 718s came into the scene, the biggest change for folks to get used to was
that 4-cylinder.
That 4-cylinder.
And it got a lot of angry messages online about it too, but I have to admit, I was a hater at first, and then I got into one and I drove it, and I'm a believer now. It's a fantastic engine. And
it's pretty interesting because I also dabble a little bit in the JDM world. And my friends that are driving 4-cylinder turbo cars, when the 718 came out, they were in love. Like, they loved how it sounded, and they knew the power potential of a turbocharged flat 4. They were excited. So I was always fairly open to it. Mm-hmm. And then, as you said, when you drive it for the first time and you feel the torque of a turbo flat 4, and also we kind of talk about this quietly on the side, its potential for making more power down the road if you want to do something along those lines. There's a lot of potential there. But let's start off with the 718 base model. Not a slouch with a 2.0.
300 horsepower.
300 horsepower.
That you can't, how can you go wrong with a 300 horsepower mid-engine sports car?
And not long ago, a base 996 was
less than 300. It was like 298, so it wasn't even 300.
Right, exactly. So of course the engine is paired with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed PDK. When you move up the ladder, so to speak, you go to a 718S, then you move into what engine?
2.5. Pretty similar on the exterior to this, a little more bore, a little more stroke, a little bit more horsepower. 50 more horsepower in that car that size, very noticeable. Yeah. So if you can get the S, definitely go with an S, but you can't go wrong with a base either. I've had fun in both models.
And it's a very competitive car here. For those of you that autocross in the Chesapeake region and in the Potomac region, there's some very competitive 718s.
Yes.
Very, very competitive car.
It's a
lot of fun.
Great platform.
Great platform.
Yeah.
Then you get into what Manny likes to say, the guaranteed to sell version, the GTS.
Yeah.
For pre-2020, we're still talking
the 2.5 4-cylinder Boxster. Just a little bit more hopped up. They turned up the tune on it some, so you got some more boost. Gets you to 265 horsepower.
365.
365, sorry, yeah, 365, yeah.
And so now, and you're also getting standard features from the S model, such as PASM, Sport Chrono, and mechanical limited slip. And then those of you that were critiquing the 4-cylinder got a little something
the
special.
squeaky wheel got the grease, and Porsche said, all right, fine, we'll put the 4-liter into it. You got your wish. And I mean, that's the pinnacle right there.
I know why people sought after this, and it's totally understandable. But don't hate on the 4-cylinder turbo. But,
yes,
but the 4-liter is the ultimate.
I came to say, like, I'm not going to hate on the 4-cylinder anymore, but I still take the 4-liter if I have the choice and the means.
Exactly. The exhaust note on that car, 394 horsepower. In a naturally aspirated flat six.
You can't beat
sitting
that.
right behind you.
Right behind you.
That's
especially when you're in that the GT4 models. Those air intakes are right behind your head. It's the noise is just, you just can't beat it.
Yeah. So let's jump right into the next model, which is the GT4 and the Spider from 2020 to 2025. That 4-liter flat six now producing 414 horsepower.
Yeah.
Even more fun.
Even more fun.
Transmissions, 6-speed manual with an optional PDK. What people refer to now as it will have a full GT chassis with motorsport derived tune, right?
Right.
The key difference between the GT4, for the GT4 is the coupes, the big wings, the track, aero. The Spider is the roadster shape, the auto spoiler.
One of the most beautiful cars, I think. That Spider RS is just, it checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the ultimate sports car, and it doesn't have to be a 911, this is the car. You can't beat it.
I think we were talking, it was between us, but I think we can let the world know. Like, if you've always dreamt about a 911, you should go after that. Don't change your dream, because I think if you get something else, you'll still always dream that you had a 911. But I think if we all had to pick one car.
You have to pick one?
One car.
One?
One.
All right.
I think that RS Spider would probably be at the top of the list.
Definitely fulfill 99% of your needs, I think.
So now you've got a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat six right behind your head, producing 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. I think as we wrote this, I think it's only PDK, right?
Yeah, only PDK for the top. Like, when you get to that top tier, Porsche is saying the PDK is going to shift faster than you ever shift.
The ultimate performance.
Ultimate performance.
So for those of you that are more romantic and like to row your own gears, that might be the only thing you have to give up.
Only thing. And if you step down to the Spider to get just the manual transmission, there's nothing wrong. That's still a fantastic car.
But the first time you're on track with a PDK car and it makes all the right choices for you.
It makes you feel really good about the lack of skill you have. And
you were talking about you drove one.
I drove the GTS hybrid, the new 911, and I knew I was not that good.
Yeah.
The car was making up for all of my my lack of skill, and that car was it blew me away how well I felt in control of that car. Never felt scared once. The amount of power just put down with that, always staying planted, no matter what I did.
A GT4 RS or RS Spider definitely makes you feel like you're Superman or Superwoman.
Yeah.
You just put it on. Key differences with those is body and aerodynamics. Obviously, the GT4 RS is fixed roof, coupe design with extensive aerodynamics, large adjustable swan neck rear wing. It's essentially, to me, a race car for the street. Mm-hmm. The RS Spider is a little bit, I wouldn't say softer, but a little bit more subtle with its ducktail spoiler and its a little bit less aggressive looking aerodynamics, which is why I think that's like the perfect.
It's a beautiful car.
Perfect street car.
Those two humps in the back behind the rear seats. I think it's a gorgeous car.
And then also with the minimalist roof, it's also the lighter one. And of course, the suspension tuning of an RS is the ultimate. And
let's be honest, if you own the Spider, you're never putting that roof.
No, it's going out when the weather is good, or even if the weather's bad, you're still gonna take in the weather.
Drive fast enough, the rain won't hit you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's take a look quickly at the chat here. Just want to say hi to some folks, Lance Johnson and Kid and Play. I don't wonder if it's the Kid and Play that I know from the hip hop days, but they're on as well. Some 718 owners from Orange County, Lance Johnson from Connecticut Valley. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you have questions on the 718, just throw them here and I'll be monitoring them. So let's talk about, we said it's just a yes. If you're looking for a 718, it's a great buy. It's being a service manager. If there are cars that have a lot of issues, or cars that, like, I always say, if you're looking to buy a car, ask the service manager at that brand, and they'll tell you which cars they have most issues with, and the cars that they have least issues with, that's the car you should buy.
Right, and this is happened to fall in that latter category. You guys asked me to do a buyer's guide on 718, and I really had to rack my brain and think, what major repairs have I done to this platform in the past couple of years I've been at the dealership? And there really hasn't been any. Those flat six engines are essentially bulletproof, whether it's a four-cylinder, six-cylinder.
Yeah.
That platform is just so well refined. It's just real minor stuff that could happen to just about any car. So I haven't seen anything major that would concern me about owning one.
And the other emphasis of why you should buy this car is because next year
it's gone.
You won't have new ones
Porsche
to buy.
Confirmed today it's no longer being produced.
We don't have a crystal ball per se, but a car that we are saying is a must buy, and a car that's going away next year, meaning limited supply and demand is going to continue.
Get them now before price goes up.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But with that, there are things to look for, and when Manny and Damon and yourself were at your facility with Ben, we put together a list of things that you should be looking for, even though as good of a car as it is. So let's first take a look about the engine and potential oil leaks. Here's what Ben had to say.
So our cars, the 718s specifically, do not really have any major problems with oil leaks. Dating back to early or late 2000s models, maybe it was a little more common to see those there, but as Porsche has progressed throughout the years and technology has advanced, we don't really see it too much anymore. If anything, any rare occasions could be like the timing cover, valve cover, gasket, such as that. But as far as like the models specifically, the four cylinders, so like the base model, the S, those are turbocharged, so those have more components and oil components, such as oil feed lines and return lines to the turbocharger itself. Whereas the GTS and up, so the GT4, the GT4 RS, the Spider RS, those have a flat six that are naturally aspirated, less components, it doesn't have the turbo, and those as well do not have oil issues at all.
So minimal areas of leakage, only sort of the complex designs of the turbochargers and more plumbing.
Right.
That would be expected.
And that's on any car. You know, if you're buying a higher mileage car, probably expect to see some oil leaks. Mm-hmm. If you're buying a low mileage example, you're probably not going to see anything down there. It's probably going to be very clean underneath.
The misconception of turbo cars running hotter, like modern cars, I don't think has that issue. I think older cars back in the day, when you talked about turbos, is that an issue? And does that really see?
Yeah, Porsche has done such a good job engineering that turbocharging system with the intercoolers. We don't really see any heat-related problems with them. I mean, like the older cars, when they were producing so much heat next to, like, say, like a plastic component, it caused it to crack or something like that. But I haven't had to do any repairs related to like the turbocharging system for heat or premature wear. Like Ben was saying in the video, maybe you might see like an oil leak starting to come from somewhere, just from multiple heat cycles. Like I said, for maybe like a higher mileage example. But even those repairs are pretty minimal.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's what Ben had to say with regards to the cooling system.
So yes, our cooling systems do have their flaws here and there, such as up to 2016 or up to 2020, they were using a vacuum actuated cooling system. So like the water pump itself was vacuum actuated. And that had things such as the vacuum actuated solenoids, vacuum lines, and changeover valves, stuff like that, that would fail, stick, stuff like that, which could cause overheating and things like that. But post 2020, they actually came out with a electrically actuated water pump for those cars, and not as much of an issue anymore. So as far as backdating and trying to, if you do have a vacuum one and you want to maybe put an electric actuated water pump on your car, Porsche does not state that is a policy that we do here.
I'm reading through the comments here, and one of the common themes is how much people love how the 718s handle.
They do handle phenomenally.
Yeah,
the mid-engine, it's such a well-balanced car. if you're going from a 911 to a 718, it's going to be a totally different sensation. But if this is your first sports car purchase, you really can't do anything better than this car.
Yeah, I remember we had the opportunity to drive 718s and base 911s at the sport driving school in Barber, and you adapted to the 718 so quickly.
Yep.
It was easy to drive it up to the level. Yeah, so that's just one thing. Again, I'm just trying to add more to your checklist of why you should be buying a 718.
There's not a lot on the no column.
There isn't.
There's a lot on the yes column.
Here's another one that I think Manny put this in here. 718s are holding at about 75 to 80% of their resale value.
Yeah.
Just behind the 911. So with production stopping, who knows where that will go. So there you go. Another factoid when you're telling your significant other of why you're writing the check for this car.
Yeah, there you go.
There's one for you there.
It's an investment.
Yeah. Between the 4 cylinders and the 6 cylinders, is there a difference in reliability?
I haven't seen any. It's a lot of the same layout, just missing 2 cylinders. So honestly, as far as their flat motors, the flat 4 and the flat 6, they are very robust and very reliable. Porsche's been redesigning that motor for the past 50, 60 years and just evolving it and evolving it and evolving it to what it is now. And it's a great platform. The only motors I've replaced in my time at the dealership have been the Volkswagen-based ones, like the V6 and the Straight 4.
Okay.
We've seen issues with those, but again, that's a very, very small number too. I've only done 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. All right, so I know maintenance on these are pretty straightforward. I think Ben has a video for us where spark plug changes are quite DIY.
So yeah, so if you are a DIY guy, on the spark plugs for our cars, we do have a special tool just in case that you do not crack these spark plugs upon removal or installation. It does look like this. It has a wobble up here so you can get in there, and it's a mid-engine vehicle, so it's all the way tucked in there. It's not an easy job to do on your own, so that's why we recommend taking it to a approved Porsche service center to do such.
I've also seen some forums or web chatter about high-pressure fuel pumps.
That was more of a common issue on the first 2-3 years of the 718. But by 2020, Porsche kind of ironed that out. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I know, like COVID era, there was a hard time getting parts, and people were making a big umph that my car was down with a fuel pump issue. But nowadays, if I do see one, it's just a day job. We'll get it swapped out.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, but I feel like most of those first gen 718s have had their pumps replaced, and they don't seem to be an issue after that.
Okay. Here's what Ben had to say on the fuel pumps.
So high pressure fuel pumps on the 718s are not really an issue as much anymore. On the earlier model years when these were first coming out, they were an issue, and customers would complain about a long startup, a ticking noise, and things such as that. So yeah, we use the high pressure fuel pump on this car, and all of our cars now have a high pressure fuel pump. Pretty much what that is it's in the name. It builds high fuel pressure, and it's driven mechanically via the camshaft on the engine itself. And yeah, what that does is just build high fuel pressure, so it's instant right at the injectors. And the difference between the high and the low pressure fuel pumps are the low pressure fuel pump is in the tank, and that just sends the fuel up to the high pressure fuel pump, which is driven via camshaft on the engine itself.
Another, I don't want to say internet lore, but another sort of catchphrase or technology that people talk about with Porsche sometimes has to do with regards to bore scoring. Okay. Is that mentioned, or is that related to the 17s in any way?
Not with the 718s. I'll get requests to do a bore scope on a 996 and maybe a 997 up to a certain year. But really, for the most part, unless you're having some sort of issue with the car, like a running issue where you're getting either like warning lights or it's running rough, which I haven't had that complaint yet. I haven't had anyone request me to do a bore scope on a 718, and that's not something we do normally during maintenance. That'd be an extra service. So again, that flat 6 platform has been so well built over the years that You hear the rumblings about that one-off guy who he brought into a shop, his motor blew up, he had bore scoring. It's a very, very low percentage, and I've yet to encounter one. Yeah, okay. I've yet to see one.
All right. So in summary, with regards to the 718 engine, really no major issues.
No, it's a great engine.
Occasional leaks, maybe cooling. No difference in maintenance and reliability between the two. And
and the spark plugs, it's just it's such a tight space. That's why it has that swivel on there. So if you're not using it at the right angle and you go to torque it down, you just create a little crack in that porcelain, and that causes a misfire.
Ah, okay.
So it's just if you're doing it, just be very careful when you're torquing those down. Make sure you have that socket at the right angle so you're not putting any stress on it when you're torquing it down.
Okay, nice tip.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into the transmission. We mentioned about manual transmissions being available, as well as PDK. How has PDK shown in terms of reliability?
PDK is a very reliable transmission. I've yet to do a rebuild on one. I replaced one on a 718, but it was out of the box. It threw a code. We weren't sure what the code was. Porsche just said go ahead and swap it out with because it's a brand new car. So we're trying to deliver it right away. So I'm not really even sure if there was anything wrong with that transmission, but we got it taken care of for the customer real fast. But as far as reliability, those clutch packs seem to last forever, because the car is doing all the shifting for you. So it's not riding the clutch packs, it's making perfect shifts every time. So we're not replacing clutches like we would in a manual trans car. And the internals seem to be very, very robust and don't have any premature failure as long as you do your fluid changes when you're supposed to do it.
Yeah,
it seems to hold up.
So what, 40,000
Yeah,
miles?
we recommend it 40,000 miles. Do a flush every 40.
Okay. And for someone that might be buying a pre-owned 718 that's PDK, obviously, hopefully there's records that the car's been maintained at the dealership and it's had this service, but is there anything else that they should be looking out for?
Well, always when buying a used car, I always try to recommend that always find one that has some sort of service history to it. You're trying to buy the best car you can afford, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all can't afford like a pristine, 5-mile example of a car that's been babied its whole life, but you always want to try to get the best car you can with the best history you can, so you don't have those unknowns when you go to drive the car and you're not hit with some surprises. Or even if you do have that history, you're prepared for that service. Oh, the 40K hasn't been done.
Right.
So I'm going to equate that into my buying price. I have this budgeted for the car, and now I'm going to budget for that major service that's going to be due in the next year.
And what's that service run roughly?
If you're doing the full thing with plugs and PDK, filters, belts, you're probably at the dealership around like $4,000.
$4,000. Just know that. Put that on top of the purchase price and know that you're going to do it. You do it and you kind of reset the car.
Reset the car, exactly.
Reset the car.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a couple of questions here. Let me see if I can get to it. There's a lot of cars out there, and there are cars that are going to have issues with that might go wrong. Here's a gentleman here. He said he bought a 718 and PDK was replaced or was required to be replaced after only 4,000 kilometers due to a sensor issue.
Sensor issue. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, I had that one right out of the box. We had 200 miles on it, and it kept throwing a fault. Porsche didn't really say why it was throwing a fault. They sent us a new transmission. We swapped it out. It's very rare. There's always going to be that
exception.
The exception to the rule. There's always that mechanical failure rate, whether it's 1% or 0.5%. There's always going to be those cars that do have an issue somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but it's you haven't noticed a pattern of it.
Haven't seen a pattern, and in like I said, the 3+ years I've been at the dealership, I've done one transmission, one PDK.
Okay. Well, here's a question from one of our fans, Mike LeBlanc. He asked, is there any issues seen with manually shifting the PDK?
No. So the car is not, it has all the software in there to protect itself. So even if you're banging away on those paddles, it's only going to let you do so much. It's only going to let you drive the car up to its limit without going past it.
Okay.
So using the paddles, I haven't seen any premature wear by using that.
It's controlling its parameters of what it's doing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the clutch wearing, I guess.
Yeah, and then the 6-speed, that's kind of tried and true.
Yeah.
Those are, nothing new here. That transmission's, that technology's been around forever. On average, we tend to see clutches last about 60,000 miles. So if you're looking at a car with 55,000 miles, I'd be kind of looking at seeing if that's been done before, or planning ahead for this clutch might only last me another couple thousand. It all depends on driving style.
Is there a way to peek into the clutch assembly?
Unfortunately, there's really no access where I can peek in there. The best way is to take the car for a test drive. You can kind of feel that release point.
Okay.
The Porsches tend to be a little bit higher. Also to do a nice hard pull at speed. So if you're in like third gear, give it a nice hard acceleration, see if there's any slippage there. Also, you can test if there's a hill around where you're doing your test drive. Just dead stop bottom of the hill, try to go up in second gear or try to go up in third gear from a dead stop, see what it does.
See if it slips?
Because if it's a good clutch and you have it in third gear from a dead stop, it should be able to chug up. It's not going to be smooth, but it should go up the hill. Okay.
Here's a question from Stephen H. He has a GTS 4-liter manual transmission, and he's just wondering, is it common to experience a thud when going from first to second?
That is not normal, usually. So if you're hearing a thud, definitely want to get that checked out.
Yeah, okay. We have someone else that's on the live chat and says, no thuds with theirs, so it's not a common thing.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any thuds in the car, so I would say have it looked at. And usually it's not too bad.
What would a clutch replacement cost on a manual transmission?
Well, usually when you're doing the clutch, you're probably going to want to do a flywheel as well. So I would say parts and labor, you're probably going to be looking at, like probably another like $4,000.
$4,000, $5,000? Okay.
Yeah, and that's you're gonna want to look at doing like a rear main seal. Maybe while you're in there, be preventative maintenance. You're staring right at it. So depending on the mileage on your car, good time to do a rear main seal.
It's funny that that dollar amount keeps coming up, because I think that stands true for if you're buying a 718, maybe even a 996, a 986, 997. Like, buy the car at the price that you think is reasonable, but then always plan about $5,000 to reset the car.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, the person that you bought the car from maybe did a lot of it and that you won't have to spend the $5,000, but if you just get your mind ready that you're gonna spend that $5,000, I think it's a little bit easier to take the news than it is to...
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I buy these older cars. I enjoy working on them. I enjoy bringing a car back. It's kind of satisfying for me when I'm like, oh, I fixed that. You know. So sometimes I don't mind a little stuff here and there. You obviously don't want to buy a car with a serious issue with it.
Right.
But when I'm doing maintenance on my car, I take some satisfaction out of that.
Okay. Well, let's hear what Ben has to say with regards to electrical systems.
So as far as the electrical systems on these cars, they are very good. They use a AGM battery. These AGM batteries normally last between 4 to 5 years, and then they would need to be replaced. A good thing to note is maybe if you're going to your dealership in your car, say, hey, check on the state of health of my battery, because when these batteries get below or around 70% or a little below 70%, anything could happen. You could have a weird low voltage fault here and this component's not working, or a weird low voltage fault there and that component's not working. And it could just cause a plethora of things over just a battery that's losing a little bit of health. Now, if you're going away for a long period of time, it's very highly recommended to put a battery tender on your vehicle to maintain that health of the battery while you're away and not driving the vehicle. And if you're planning on working on your vehicle's own electrical system, it's highly recommended to have a battery charger on the vehicle while you're doing so and have the ignition on. Because if you have the ignition on and you don't have a battery charger on, you're just depleting voltage from the battery continuously. So it's a good thing to do that. If you're doing any work on your own electrical system and it happens to be a component that contains an airbag, such as the steering wheel, you're putting an aftermarket one on, or a seat, like you're putting a bucket seat in or something like that, disconnect the battery, let it sit for, Porsche says 1 minute, I'd like to do like 5 minutes just to make sure all that voltage is out of there and there's no accidental actuation of the airbag system.
GM issue, the winter's setting here in the Northeast. If your car is going to stay in the garage and parked for some time, please put it on a battery maintainer, because those AGM batteries do not like to drop, and when they drop, sometimes
they don't come back.
They don't come back, or they throw all sorts of codes. So that is one that you definitely...
Yeah, and that's probably the most common problem we see is...
Oh, really?
Is warning lights. You know, someone's going to say, hey, you know, my car's been sitting for a while. I got these warning lights on my dash now, because it's going to set the whole Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You have your PASM light on, you'll have all sorts of lights on, and they think the whole car is broken. But really, it could just be a low battery.
A low battery, exactly. Well, let's hear what Ben has to say with regards to suspensions.
As far as the suspension on the 718s, they are fully aluminum, such as knuckles, control arms, and subframes, allowing for light, sharp, and precise steering and maneuverability on a track or just street driving. Our suspensions, they don't really have too many issues. Some issues we have seen would just be like a leaking strut, which could be caused by where it was driven, how it was driven, not necessarily the component failing prematurely. Other than that, the PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management System, is very good. That system alone does not have any issues. If it does have any issues, you would know by a yellow fault appearing on the instrument cluster saying PASM fault, and then you would just take it to the dealership and they would assess the issue there.
Just as a side note, that white 718 looks gorgeous.
Yeah, like I said, I was going to drive it down today, but I think someone's trying to buy it.
Someone already bought it?
Oh, they may be looking at it, trying to buy it, yeah.
All right, some other areas. I think Ben's going to talk a little bit about headliners and water drains.
So as far as the headliners and water drains, the headliners in the newer versions, I know in the 987s, it was a little bit of an issue with the glue that they used from the factory and it coming to peel off a little bit if it was like exposed to high temperatures or something like that. As far as now, I have not seen any issues. They stay up, they're not coming down. Porsche fixed that for sure. As far as the water drains, it is very important if you have a Boxster to make sure that you get the drains cleaned and checked annually. That's a big problem. We had 3 cars in a month earlier this year that all had water intrusion issues on Boxsters. And under the carpet, under the seats, are control units that are thousands of dollars and do not like to be swimming in water.
Yeah, so that's with any car, especially you know, this time of the year when it's going to be raining constantly, bad weather, is please make sure you get your drains serviced regularly.
If you own a convertible and you're going to park it outside, get a car cover.
Yeah.
Just don't, it's
not worth it.
It doesn't take much to clog those drains,
yeah.
And then you're looking at thousands of dollars to replace the carpeting, to replace the modules, all that stuff in there. So.
And some people might be falsely maybe feeling that they don't have to do the drains because they park their cars in a garage.
Even cars inside.
Even cars that have them checked. It doesn't take much, but if you
and that's something we do most services. You know, if you're coming in for your annual 10,000 mile service, it's something we do check, but it never hurts just to say, hey, would you mind double checking that for me? Because you never know what could be get stuck in there and cause a heavy rain causes it to overflow, and then you're looking at a big repair bill.
Exactly. And in fact, it could total a car. I've
seen
cars be totaled because of lack of drain maintenance, water intrusion, computers, and
these cars are rolling computers now. There's so many electronics in there, and they do not like getting wet.
Exactly. All right, well, before we get into the popular options, there was a question here from Stephen H. again. So they are wondering if they took the short shifter of a Boxster 25th anniversary and put it on a regular Boxster GTS 4-liter. One, can they do it? Would it void the warranty? And what if they had the dealer install it? Would it void the warranty?
And this is a factory part?
Yeah.
It shouldn't void the warranty then. If it's a factory Porsche part and we're swapping it from one 718 to another 718, it shouldn't change the warranty at all.
And my suggestion to folks is I would have the dealer do it if your car is under warranty.
Oh, yes.
And ask them.
Ask us to do it.
If
something does go wrong with it, then we'll warranty it for you.
Exactly, because then you have the statement and then you don't have to worry. But if you just do it yourself and something goes wrong,
then I can say, you know, that could have been improper installation. You torqued down on it too hard, you know.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about popular options now that you've decided that you want a 718. The PDK, I think, for those of you that are looking for ultimate performance, you got to go for the PDK. For those of you that like the romance of shifting gears and perfecting the shift, I like that as well. In fact, I'm not sure, do all of them have the rev matching now?
When you're in, I think you have to have it in Sport or Sport Plus to have the rev matching.
And if you do have that, it really, just like the other cars made you look like a hero on the track.
Oh, yeah.
When that rev matching is on and you downshift into a turn, you're like, man, I'm so good.
In the new manuals, they have that hill assist too.
Oh, hill assist as well.
So it's like stalling them out. You have to like really try hard to stall it out.
Yeah.
You really do. Otherwise, they're really forgiving 6 speeds now. They're great.
So I have this excuse when I autocross that I'm usually a second or a few more behind a car is because it's PDK.
Okay.
That's right. So I need a PDK to make up at least a second or two.
Sure.
That's it. It's not my driving. It can't be my
driving.
Can't be the
car,
driving.
Right?
Let's talk about sports chrono package. Ben had something to say about that.
One of the options that we do offer for the 718s is the Sport Chrono package, which adds launch control, sharper throttle response, and the Sport Plus mode, drive mode. And what that does is it finely tunes the suspension even more, finely tunes the transmission with the engine itself, just for that sharper response, sharper performance on the track.
Well, this next option I think is a must-have, and I think if you can find it on a car and you don't really pay extra for it, and that has to do with sport exhaust. And,
yeah, if you're going to buy yourself a sports car, you should make it sound proper.
And the factory sport exhaust is
factory sport exhaust
choice.
Yeah.
Here's what Ben had to say.
Another option that we offer is the Sport exhaust system. What that does is make your exhaust a lot louder, and you get a button on the center console where you can turn it on and off, actuating a flap on the inside, allowing more exhaust flow to exit the tailpipes.
Man, that car has all the great options. I'm
Chris
surprised you still have
builds a pretty nice car. When he orders them in, he tends to option them out pretty well.
Another option that many people don't necessarily think they need, but once you drive a car with it, it's hard to think that you would have a car without it, and that's the Porsche torque vectoring PTV with limited slip. Here's what Ben had to say.
Another option that we have is called Porsche torque vectoring. On the 718s, it does not come as there's no button to actuate the system or not. It depends on your drive mode selected, either Sport or Sport Plus. And what that will do is act as a limited slip differential around turns, supplying more power to whatever wheel it needs to exit the corner at a higher speed.
Now this next option can be, how would you say, debatable for those that might track a car, not because of their lack of performance, but carbon ceramic brakes is the high performance braking option. They're also a bit on the pricier side.
They are. They look really cool.
They look really cool. And if you're a Concours person and you hate brake dust and cleaning your wheels, then definitely carbon ceramic brakes are a good option for you.
I think they're a great option. The chances of you wearing them out are pretty slim unless you're daily in the car and you're really, really putting the miles on it. I mean, those rotors and pads last forever.
Yeah.
When they do come to that, they're very expensive to replace, though. That's the downside.
And I think that's why most track people, they tend to take them off and do steel brakes, just because there's a lot of chance of them taking wheels on and off and damaging.
Oh, if you chip it,
you're done.
You're done. Yeah. You're done. I failed a car for CPO for having a tiny little chip in the rotor, and $10,000 later, we got it.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. How much did it cost? $10,000.
Rotors are about 10 grand a piece.
A piece.
A piece.
A piece.
Each.
Yes. So $40,000 for brakes.
All four, yeah. Well, that's not the pad. You have to pay for the pads too, and the labor.
Okay, so that's something for you to think about. But if you don't go that direction and you go steel brakes, let's see what Ben had to say.
So another option that we offer is called PCCB, Porsche Carbon Ceramic Brakes, and pretty much what that is for high track use. They work extremely well under high temperatures. That's why they are made for the track specifically. Now, the Spyders and the RSs and the GT cars, it is very normal to see the PCCBs on them. This one is a rare scenario where they actually opted for the steel brakes on them instead. Now, I will say that the PCCBs are quite expensive. They are very expensive, but Porsche says that the rotors themselves really should last a long time. Now it depends. If you only track the car, then obviously it's going to wear faster. But if you daily drive the car and you got PCCBs, you might go the whole life of that car and never replace those rotors. But if you do, they are expensive.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, what Uber Yo-Yo said, yeah, you don't go through PCCBs in street use. They'll last forever. They'll last forever.
Yeah, you really got to be putting some serious mileage or hard track use on them to wear them out.
Exactly. Let's see what Ben has to say with regards to PASM, Porsche's active suspension management. What I like about it is it lowers the vehicle, so
that too, yeah,
makes it look pretty cool. What'd Ben have to say?
So as I said earlier, with the suspension, another option that we offer is called PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management, and it's kind of in the name. As you are driving, the suspension will vary and change depending on if you're in Sport, Sport Plus, on a turn. If it needs to tighten up this corner, loosen up that corner, it can do that in milliseconds with the Porsche Active Suspension Management System.
Before we go on to the next area of popular options, we got a question here from Stewartsworth 9250. Can the factory sport exhaust be retrofitted?
You can. It's probably going to be a pretty pricey option to retrofit. But yeah, you can.
The exhaust is expensive, but then you also have to do all the plumbing, right?
Yeah, do the plumbing, and then there's going to be some wiring involved all the way up to the dash for that button. So I would say, really, I hate to say it, but if you really want a base model car with no sport exhaust, I would go for either an aftermarket exhaust or something that's going to get you that same sound. But because to do a factory retrofit, you're going to be looking at a big retrofit.
Yeah. Or you could do what I did, and I bought a factory sport exhaust. And instead of wiring it, the valves to open and close, I just have it set to open, and I hear
you can do that too. If you're fine with it being on all the time, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, so that's an option for you. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's go to the interior comfort and conveniences of a 718. Here's what Ben had to say with regards to heated and ventilated seats.
So another option that we have with our vehicles is heated and ventilated seats. Now, a big misconception is that they are air-conditioned seats. They are not. They are ventilated, which means, like, so for example, like if it's a hot summer day, it's 100 degrees outside, you get in your car, it's super hot. The seats will not start to feel cool until the air conditioning system kicks on and the inside of the cabin is cool itself. And then you will start to feel the ventilation working in the seats, and the seats will feel cool.
The next option that's popular, and I think it's probably a bargain if you can find it on a car where you don't have to pay extra for it in the aftermarket world. But if you had bought one new, the Burmeister versus Bose are popular choices for the audio system.
Yeah, if you're an audiophile and you really appreciate a good sound system, try to find the Burmeister. It's just hands down one of the best car audio systems you're ever going to listen to.
And what I've learned about, unlike some stereo systems in cars that are just simply, here's the interior, put some nice speakers and put a head unit in and make it sound pretty good because it has power.
Right.
What Bose and Burmeister especially, they have like acoustic engineers that have taken into consideration the materials, the rake of the windshield, where to place the subwoofer, and like it is like a fine-tuned home audio system, but inside your car.
And I think, like I said, if you're a big audiophile and that's like the box that does it for you, go find the car with that option on it. Absolutely.
All right, park assist. The cars are small, but front and rear parking sensors and a rear view camera these days.
It helps. If you got the convertible top up, sometimes it's hard to see out the back.
Yeah.
So that park assist is definitely very handy.
I was surprised to see this particular option on the car. I didn't think it was an option. The dual zone automatic climate control.
I want to say that comes standard on most all. I don't think I've ever seen one
without it.
Yeah. I think it's one of those options that it's an option, but
most cars have it.
They all come, especially in the States. I think maybe if you were in Europe in the milder climate, sometimes they might uncheck that box. But.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's talk about interior and exterior customization, seating options. You have your preferences between standard and sport seats? And
I'm still consider myself a young guy, even though my body disagrees sometimes. But I like bucket seats. I really enjoy them. Sports seats are always great too, and even like the standard seats are very comfortable. So I think it's really just what your preference is.
Yeah.
What type of driving you're going to want to do. If you're going to be doing any sort of track days, I'd want to have either the sports seats or the buckets. But if you're just looking for a nice, convertible that you want to cruise in, the standard seats are just fine.
So speaking of buckets, if you look in the auction world or if you look at classifieds, let's say you're ordering a GT4 or a Spider, that you have the option between buckets and like the comfort seats. I would say make sure or try to get the buckets, and even if you don't like them, you could take them out and save them, sort of as an investment. And it's easy to find the
comfort seats,
the comfort seats, right?
And I've seen those buckets go for crazy money.
30 grand I've seen.
Crazy money. So
$30,000.
put those in your garage for a couple years.
Yeah.
Put them on, bring a trailer, sell them for 30 grand.
That's insane.
Because I think as an option, they're not that much.
They're not.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I enjoy the buckets, especially if it's in a car that is not my daily. If it's just my toy, my fun car, I like the buckets. If it's your daily, then probably sports seats.
Yeah. Okay. How about interior trim options? What have you seen?
Well, Porsche, I think they kind of set the bar for custom interiors and quality and making it feel like this car is unique to you. So you'll see a lot of cars with, baseball stitching or deviated stitching, different colored seat belts, you can pretty much customize that whole interior with different materials. So if you're looking in the used 718 market, you're gonna see a lot of different variations of different interiors and different styles. But they're all very, very well made, high quality stuff. So, it's really whatever your personal preference is.
I think Ben had some thoughts on the interior trim.
Yeah.
So as far as things to look for in the interior of these 718s, they're built very high quality. They're very good. Now, if you're looking at earlier model years, I don't know if it was like the glue that they used or something like that, but it was also common in the 911s around the same model years as well. But the door panel itself up here, you would see it start to separate from the door and start to like peel up and like come up that way. And it just wasn't too much of a good look. But starting with the 2020 model years and after, that issue is not common. We have not seen it since.
Man, Peter, we are not doing a very good job of finding things to put in the no box.
No.
If you came to this video thinking
really
that you
minor.
would not get a 718, this is not the video to watch.
I'd have a hard time talking you out of it.
And if you just happen to stumble onto this video, guess what? You're probably now looking for a 718.
You're on Facebook Marketplace looking for every 718 you can find.
Yeah. Let's talk about accessing the engine bay, because it's not like a traditional. Actually, even the 911s now, there's not much to see.
Yeah, they're hard to work on these days. It's not like the old cars where actually I had a deck lid and you could see the whole engine. 718. They have an access panel behind the rear seats, which you really have to contort yourself to get in there if you want to access that drive belt system at all. And then the rear hatch will open up on the Caymans, and you can remove that panel and access the top of the motor. But you really got to be flexible if you're going to try to work on these cars yourself. I've seen my technicians in some really awkward positions getting into the backside of that motor. It's kind of funny sometimes. You come up on them, they're all contorted in there, but they get it done.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that doesn't work out for them, they could always like work for Cirque du Soleil or something.
That too, yeah.
All right, let's see what Ben had to say on accessing the engine bays.
Another thing to note when if you are going to work on these vehicles, it's very crammed. It is a mid-engine vehicle, as stated. The access to the front of the engine is in the cabin right here. This whole carpet right here will come down, and then there's another plate over that. And they'll also have the sound composer as well right there. As far as working on top of the engine, it's different, and it's actually a lot easier on the Boxsters because you can have the top down and you can remove this plate that's right under there. But on the Caymans, the hardtop, you have to open the trunk, work inside there, and it's not the easiest thing to do. But if you are going to do that, just keep that in mind, that you got to take precaution and know what you're doing beforehand.
Man, I think we're doing a good job for your sales team, because there's someone on here asking if that white car is still at Owings Mills, because they will be there Saturday morning to take a look at it.
Call him, ask for Chris. He'll take good care
Tell
of you.
them you saw it on Tech Tactics Live so that we get commission somehow.
Yeah, I get that bird dog, yeah.
So speaking of someone coming into now to the dealership to buy a 718 Boxster, Cayman, GT4, Spider, and so on and so forth, there's going to be cars that are available at the Porsche dealership, obviously, and then hopefully under a CPO program. And there's cars that are going to be at a Chevrolet lot or a Toyota lot. Little insight and some advice for those people.
Well, I think there's a lot of value in getting a CPO'd Porsche. It's a very, very reliable platform, but nonetheless, it's still a car. And at any point, something can go wrong on it, whether it's an electrical issue or a seal that's just gone prematurely wrong, and that extended warranty is going to pay for itself.
And usually CPOs, the extra payments or extra packages, a couple $1,000s to buy a couple more years. If you think in terms of repairs, a couple thousand, we were just talking about the $4,000, $5,000 mark to reset a car. Like, to get to the dollar amount of that CPO is very quick in one small incident.
And it also gives you peace of mind too, because if I had a car that I was scared to drive because I didn't want to break it because I couldn't afford to fix it, think of that peace of mind as like, oh, I have this great warranty now. I can drive the hell out of this car and drive like it's supposed to be driven and not have to worry if something goes wrong on it.
Some dark clouds following you or something.
And it's all being covered at the Porsche Center. We'll get it fixed for you. So.
And I believe if you happen to need to sell the car shortly after you bought it, that transfers, doesn't it?
I believe so, yeah. So you
excuse me.
So you'll have that coverage on it where the car will still, that's a selling point. It gives value to your car. Yeah. It's a CPO.
So in terms of the market availability of 718 and Boxsters, we've said that they're not going to be available next year. What's it been like in terms of getting them or having them in stock at the dealership?
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot coming from Porsche because it's towards the end of the line. All the cars that I think the last run they did was in October. So the cars that were built in October, they're going to be the last 718s to show up in the States.
They'll probably be here over the next, by the end of the year.
Probably all the special models like the GT4s and RSs are probably pre-sold. Yeah. But there's still some out there. And I think a CPO'd 718 is probably one of the best cars you can get right now.
Now, if someone was interested in getting one, can they call Owings Mills and say, hey, if you have one that you're going to come across, like put me on a list or something?
Our sales staff is always there to take phone calls. They'll find you a car if there's something you're really looking for. I mean, we have contacts out there, so if there's some specific car you're looking for, they can do some homework and see if they can't find it for you.
And do you see most of the ones that are available, are they highly optioned or are they...
They're all over the place. Usually the cars from our dealership, we kind of take pride in that we try to option the heck out of them. Chris likes to build pretty well-built cars with all the boxes checked on them. So it's what your price point is and what you're looking to do with the car. And so some people might really appreciate that sport exhaust because they want to hear that engine always going. But some people might want to rather have that Burmeister because they want to have that stereo pump. So. You can find the car that fits your needs. The Porsche, I think they said they only build, it's maybe it's built in the 911, but they only build like 2 of the same car every year with the exact same options, exact same color.
Oh, wow. Is there a sweet spot in terms of mileage? Obviously, everybody wants a low mileage car, but prices, you got to be a little bit flexible now that the supply of cars. Is there
probably the best deal you'll find is probably on a car that's in like the 40s to 50,000 miles. I'd say that's probably, if I was looking for a car and I wasn't trying to break the bank on a car with 1,000 miles on it that's essentially brand new. If I found myself like a 40,000 mile car that just had its major service done, that's kind of what I'd be looking for.
Now, have you seen cars in the 100,000 and 100,000 plus miles?
I have. They're rarer. I mean, a lot of these guys, this was their dream. It's their baby. They keep their weekend warrior. So we do see a few guys who daily their cars. But again, I haven't seen anything that causes any like red flags. I'm going, oh man, this is something to tell every 718 guy, don't go past 80,000 miles because then the whole thing's going to blow up. This doesn't happen. Yeah, they're pretty robust.
Well, I guess I have to apologize if you came to this video looking for reasons why not to buy a 718. We failed miserably.
Sorry.
But hopefully for those of you that are looking for a 718 or already own a 718, this just justifies your reason to keep it, hold on to it. Again, I want to thank Manny and Damon for running the show behind the scenes. I want to encourage you to check out PCASimRacing.com if you want to race other PCA members. We also have the latest podcast that we dropped with Bruce Meyer. What a wonderful opportunity it was for PCA. Check out PCA Insider podcasts and let us know what you think. We have our newsletters that are free. So we have e-brake news, Mart Fresh news, performance news, all free. Just go to pca.org and sign yourself up. And for those of you that are watching live tonight, the PCA Fall Member Raffle closes this Friday. I would love to deliver a 2026 911 GTS plus $35,000 cash to your door, but you got to play if you want to win. And again, if you aren't already a PCA member, just grab that VIN, head over to pca.org, make yourself a member. And if you're looking for your 718, looking for a special Porsche, we have the test drive program, and that unlocks resources to help you find that car for your driveway or your garage. Next week, this time, same channel, we'll be talking about the E9 Cayenne. So I invite you to join us there. Let's see if we can put more in the no box versus the yes box. We'll see about that. But until next time, thank you very much and stay safe. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And be sure to leave a comment. And thank you all that joined and left a comment and was engaged in this week's show. Take care, everyone.